Most people think wealth is about stacking up dollars. It's not. Wealth is about stacking up options. Options to say no to what you don't want. Options to say yes to the life you dream of. And that kind of wealth, the wealth that buys back your time, your choices, and your peace of mind, only comes when you obey the right principles. The sad truth is, poverty doesn't just drain your wallet. It drains your spirit. It robs you of confidence. It limits your choices, and it makes you a spectator in your own life. But wealth makes you a participant. It puts you back in control. And the shift starts in the mind before it ever shows up in the bank account. So today, I'm going to walk you through 5 fundamental wealth laws that create true freedom. Not just more money, but more life. Because if you don't master these laws, life will master you. And that's not the future you want. When it comes to building wealth, most people get stuck before they even start. Why? Because they look at the big picture and feel overwhelmed. They say, well, I don't have $1 million idea yet. Or, I don't have thousands to invest. So they sit, they wait, and they watch others move forward while they stay in the same spot. But here's the truth. All great fortunes started small. Every wealthy person you admire today once stood where you stand right now, at the beginning, holding nothing but an idea, a decision, and a willingness to start small. You've got to let go of the fear of humble beginnings. That's where the foundation is built. When I first started out, I didn't have much. I was broke, behind on my promises, and wondering how to turn my life around. I remember sitting in a small apartment with bills stacked on the table thinking, how do I even begin? But then someone shared a simple idea with me, start with what you have from where you are and build. So I started saving just a little, even when it seemed pointless. A few dollars set aside each week. I started reading just a little, even if it was only 10 pages a day. I started learning just a little, attending seminars and taking notes, one concept at a time. And those small beginnings turned into habits. The habits turned into disciplines. And the disciplines turned into wealth. See, most people want the fruit, but forget about the seed. The seed looks so small that they think, what's the use? But the seed is where all the power is. A tree doesn't begin as a tree. It begins as a seed planted by someone who believed in small beginnings. The same goes for wealth. You plant small habits, and over time, they compound into something bigger than you could have imagined. But you have to be patient enough to nurture it. You have to keep watering the seed before you see the tree. You have to save a little before you save a lot. You have to read a little before you master big ideas. You have to invest a little before you own something that grows while you sleep. Don't let your pride talk you out of starting small. Don't say, when I have more, then I'll begin. That's poverty thinking. Wealth thinking says, I'll begin now with what I have, and I'll multiply from there. Remember, the habits you build today are the roots of the life you'll live tomorrow. So plant the seed, water the soil, and trust the process. Every fortune you see today started as someone's small decision. One of the greatest lessons in building wealth is understanding leverage. Most people try to get rich by working harder, longer, and faster. And while hard work is important, it's not the full answer. You can only swing the hammer so many hours a day before you run out of strength. The day still has 24 hours, no matter how determined you are. That's why you need leverage. The ability to multiply your time, your money, and your ideas so they work for you, even when you're not working. This is the strategy that separates those who just get by from those who get rich. When I started out, like most people, I was taught to trade time for money, work a few hours, get paid for a few hours. But one day, someone showed me a better formula. They said, if you want wealth, you've got to find a way to earn while you sleep. That statement changed everything for me. Because the truth is, time is limited, but ideas are not. Systems are not. Teams are not. Investments are not. That's where wealth is built, in multiplication, not just addition, Think about it like this. If you're the only one doing the work, you're capped. But if you build a system that works when you're not there, you've created leverage. If you invest money in an asset that grows while you're with your family or taking a walk, you've created leverage. If you use technology, automation, or a team to handle part of your business, you've created leverage. Wealthy people don't just focus on effort, they focus on multiplication. Take investing, for example. When you buy a stock that pays dividends or a property that produces rental income, you've just bought yourself leverage. Your money is now working when you're not. Or consider building a side business that runs online. Selling a product or service while you sleep, that's leverage too. One of the best examples from my own life was when I started teaching others. I didn't just keep the lessons to myself, I packaged my ideas, shared them, and let those lessons multiply across the world. That's how one idea can pay you again and again, long after you've spoken it. But leverage isn't just about money, it's about time and relationships too. You can leverage the experience of mentors instead of making every mistake yourself. You can leverage technology to automate tasks that used to take hours. You can even leverage the talents of other people by building teams that share your vision. The key is to ask yourself daily, how can I multiply my effort? How can I make this idea work for me, even when I'm not in the room? Working harder might pay the bills, but working smarter creates wealth. So look for ways to step out of the time for money trap and step into the law of leverage. That's how you build wealth that lasts. There's a truth about money that too few people understand. Wealth doesn't grow overnight. It grows slowly, almost imperceptibly at first. Then, with time, it begins to multiply in ways that seem almost magical. This is the power of compound growth, and it's one of the most important laws in building lasting financial freedom. When I began my journey, I didn't have a fortune to start with. I had to begin small, putting aside a little money regularly, month after month, year after year. It didn't seem like much at the time. In fact, it felt like I was barely making progress. But what I learned was this: consistent small investments repeated over time will outpace even the largest one-time efforts. The secret is in patience and persistence. The money you invest today doesn't just sit there. It earns interest or dividends. Then, the next day, you earn interest not only on your original investment, but also on the earnings from the previous day. This cycle repeats. Daily, weekly, monthly, snowballing into wealth that grows faster and faster as time goes on. It's the slow snowball rolling downhill that becomes an avalanche. This law rewards those who start early because time is the greatest asset in wealth building. The earlier you plant your seed, the more time you give it to grow, and the bigger your harvest will be. Delaying the start may feel tempting. I'll save more when I have a higher income, people say. But the truth is, delaying means missing out on decades of compounding growth. You don't need to be a millionaire to take advantage of this law. Even modest amounts saved regularly can turn into substantial wealth if given enough time. The key is to be consistent and disciplined, to keep investing regardless of market conditions or personal setbacks. Remember, it's not about timing the market, it's about time in the market. Let me share this with you from my own experience. My financial growth wasn't rapid in the early years, but by staying consistent and patient, I watched my money multiply in ways I could never have imagined. The small decisions I made every day, saving a little, investing a little, learning a little, compounded into a life of financial freedom. So if you want to build wealth that lasts, start now. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Trust the power of compound growth. Be faithful to your small daily disciplines, and over time your wealth will multiply beyond what you thought possible. Time will do the heavy lifting. You just have to show up and commit. This is the power that separates the wealthy from the rest. They understand that wealth is not a sprint, it's a marathon. The steady steps you take today will lead you to financial freedom tomorrow. One of the greatest lessons I've learned on the journey to financial freedom is that earning money only while you're awake puts a limit on your life. If you trade every hour for $1, eventually you'll find yourself exhausted, stressed, and trapped by your own time. True wealth comes when you make money while you sleep. The wealthy understand this principle deeply. They don't just work harder, they work smarter. They build systems, acquire assets, and create income streams that generate revenue without their constant presence. This is what we call passive income, and it's the gateway to real freedom. When I first started out, I focused heavily on my job and immediate income. I worked long hours, but the money stopped flowing the moment I stopped working. It took me a while to realize that if I wanted to grow wealth and have true freedom, I had to make my money work for me. Passive income can come from many sources. Dividends from stocks allow your money to grow quietly in the background. Real estate investments create monthly rental income that comes whether you're on the job or on vacation. Intellectual property like books, courses, or patents can generate royalties long after the initial effort. Even online businesses or automated sales funnels can create income while you sleep. The beauty of passive income is it buys back your most precious resource, time. When your money earns money on its own, you can focus on higher level decisions, personal growth, and enjoying the fruits of your labor. You're no longer chained to a clock or a paycheck. I remember meeting people who built rental properties slowly but surely. They started with one home, reinvested profits, and before they knew it, had a portfolio that brought in steady cash flow. Their wealth was no longer limited by their hours, but expanded through smart investment and patience. The key is to start building these income streams early. You don't need to be rich to begin. Start small, learn, and grow. Educate yourself on different avenues of passive income and take consistent action. This shift in mindset from earning only while working to earning while resting is what separates the financially free from the financially stuck. Making money while you sleep isn't just a goal, it's a strategy. It's about designing your life so your resources multiply independently. When you adopt this approach, you're no longer at the mercy of your job or time. You become the master of your own financial destiny. So ask yourself today, how am I building my income streams beyond my paycheck? What systems or assets can I create that work even when I'm not? The sooner you start, the closer you move toward the freedom you deserve. Remember, wealth isn't just about the money, it's about the time and peace that money can buy. Make your money work for you and watch your life transform. One of the most overlooked but powerful laws of wealth is the mastery of your own emotions. If you don't master your emotions will master your money, and that's a dangerous place to be. When it comes to building wealth, it's not just about knowledge or strategy, it's about emotional discipline. Without it, even the best plan can unravel. Think about the many people who panic during market downturns, selling off investments in fear and regret, or those who get swept up in the hype, chasing quick riches fueled by greed only to lose everything. Wealthy individuals understand that financial success isn't about reacting impulsively. It's about making decisions grounded in principle, patience, and long-term thinking. When the market dips, or life throws unexpected challenges, a calm mind wins. It's the ability to hold steady and stick to your plan when others are losing their heads. That's the difference between those who build lasting wealth and those who chase fleeting gains. Fear and greed are powerful emotions, but they are also unreliable advisors. I recall my own journey times when the temptation to give in to fear or greed was strong, but it was discipline and the principle of staying the course that brought results. Wealth building is a marathon, not a sprint, and emotional control is your steady companion on that long road. To master your emotions, start by recognizing your triggers. When you feel the urge to panic, sell, or overspend, pause. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself if your decision is based on facts and principles or temporary feelings. Develop habits like journaling your financial decisions and reflecting on the outcomes. Surround yourself with mentors and advisors who reinforce discipline. Emotional control in finance means setting rules like automatic savings, pre-planned investments, and clear budgets that remove the temptation to act impulsively. It's also about understanding that setbacks are part of the process and not reasons to quit. Ultimately, mastering your emotions leads to mastering your money. When you can stay calm during uncertainty and resist the lure of instant gratification, you create a foundation of financial strength. Your wealth then becomes a reflection of your character, a testament to your discipline, patience, and clarity of purpose. Remember, emotions can be your enemy or your ally in the pursuit of wealth. Choose to master them, and your financial freedom will follow. The mind that rules emotions rules money, and the mind that rules money rules destiny. There's a dangerous trap many fall into when chasing wealth, the lottery mentality. They believe riches come from a sudden massive win, a lucky break, or a jackpot they haven't yet hit. This kind of thinking is not only unrealistic, but it's also the fastest way to disappointment and financial ruin. True wealth is never the result of luck alone. It's the product of steady, deliberate effort over time. The law of gradual gain is what separates the wealthy from the hopeful. Wealth isn't stumbled upon overnight, it's created piece by piece, habit by habit, decision by decision. Think about a tree. It doesn't grow tall and strong in a day. It takes years of small growth, season after season, to develop deep roots and wide branches. Your financial success is no different. Every small discipline, saving a little more, investing a little longer, learning a little daily, builds upon itself to create something extraordinary. I've seen countless people chase after quick fixes or get-rich-quick schemes, only to lose what little they had. But the wealthy, they commit to daily wins, no matter how small. They understand the power of compounding, not just with money, but with habits, knowledge, and character. Each day's small victory builds momentum, confidence, and a stronger foundation. When you choose the law of gradual gain, you choose patience and persistence over impulsiveness. You build a mindset that values long-term freedom over short-term thrills. This mindset teaches you to appreciate the journey, to celebrate the small milestones, and to stay committed even when progress seems slow. Remember, it's not the big win that sustains wealth. It's the small wins repeated every day. Your future is shaped by the habits you build today. Reject the fantasy of luck. Embrace the reality of steady progress. That's the law that creates lasting wealth. There's a common misconception that being busy means you're moving forward, making progress toward your goals. But the truth is, movement and progress are not the same. You can be running in circles all day and still end up right where you started. Many people fill their days with activity, checking emails, attending meetings, responding to distractions, yet their bank accounts remain unchanged. True wealth is built not by mere busyness, but by focused, strategic action. The wealthy understand this distinction deeply. They don't just stay busy, they stay productive in ways that truly matter. Their energy is reserved for the activities that yield the highest returns, thinking deeply about opportunities, learning continuously to sharpen their skills, investing wisely to grow their assets, and leading with vision to multiply their impact. These are the tasks that compound over time to create wealth and freedom. Early in my life, I found myself overwhelmed with tasks that seemed urgent but weren't important. I was busy, but not productive. The turning point came when I realized I had to be intentional with my time, focusing on the few vital actions that produce the greatest growth. Reading books instead of watching television, attending seminars instead of wasting time on idle chatter, setting goals instead of drifting day to day. It was a mindset shift from activity to strategy. Productivity is about prioritizing, planning, and purpose. It means saying no to distractions and yes to the few tasks that push you forward financially and personally. When you learn to distinguish between being busy and making progress, you start to build wealth with intention. So don't just fill your day with movement. Focus on what moves the needle. Prosperity comes from purposeful productivity, not from simply being occupied. When you do this, wealth stops being a hope and becomes a natural outcome. Most people spend their lives thinking about how to earn more money, chasing raises, bonuses, or extra hours on the job. But the truly wealthy think differently. They think in terms of multiplying what they already have. Earning is just the beginning. Real wealth comes when you make your money work for you. When I started my journey, I realized that no matter how much I earned, if I spent everything, I'd never build wealth. The key was not just making money, but multiplying it through smart investments and leveraging resources. It's about creating systems, whether it's investing in stocks, real estate, or building businesses that grow your money while you focus on other things. Think of it this way. $1 in your pocket is worth exactly $1. But $1 invested wisely can become $10 or $100 over time. The wealthy understand this principle deeply. They don't let their earnings sit idle. They use them as seeds to grow bigger crops. It's the difference between working for money and having money work for you. Multiplying wealth also means leveraging your time, skills, and network. When you create a business system, a team, or passive income streams, your earnings multiply exponentially without extra effort. The more you can build these systems, the faster your wealth grows. So, stop focusing only on earning more. Focus on multiplying what you have. Put your money to work, leverage your resources, and watch how wealth starts to compound. This shift in thinking from earning to multiplying is the gateway to true financial freedom. Money in your hands is like water in your palm. If you don't hold it carefully, it slips away. The law of money management is simple but powerful. Money without management disappears. It doesn't matter how much you earn if you don't control where every dollar goes. Without a clear plan, your income becomes like sand slipping through your fingers. When I first learned this lesson, I realized that wealth isn't just about making money. It's about managing it well. I began to assign every dollar a job. Some dollars were for saving, others for investing, some for giving, and yes, a portion for spending. This simple act of budgeting created boundaries around my money and made sure it didn't wander off into unnecessary expenses or impulse buys. Managing money wisely requires discipline and awareness. You have to track your income and expenses closely, know where every penny goes. When you assign purpose to your money, you create a flow that supports growth and security. Saving builds your safety net. Investing grows your future. Giving nurtures your spirit and connections, and spending fuels your lifestyle, all in balance. Unmanaged money has a way of disappearing mysteriously, often leaving you wondering where it all went. But when you respect money enough to manage it, you control it. You make it work for you instead of being a slave to your spending. So, start today by creating a simple budget that assigns every dollar a clear job. Make your money a team player in building your wealth. Remember, it's not just what you make, it's how you manage what you have that creates lasting financial freedom. Comparison is the silent thief of wealth. Most people stay stuck in poverty, not because they lack money, but because they try to look rich before they actually are. They buy things to impress the neighbor, the colleague, or the social media crowd, trading their financial future for temporary approval. This mindset creates a poverty that's far more dangerous than a low bank balance. It's a poverty of comparison. Wealthy people understand this truth deeply. They don't chase status symbols or try to keep up with others' spending habits. Instead, they live below their means by design, not by accident. They understand that true freedom isn't found in flashy cars or expensive clothes, but in the quiet power of a growing bank account and an increasing net worth. They know that financial freedom is created by patience, discipline, and self-control. In my own journey, I learned early on the cost of chasing appearances. Trying to look wealthy without the foundation to support it left me stressed, burdened, and far from where I wanted to be. Once I shifted my focus from impressing others to building lasting wealth, everything changed. I began to save quietly, invest wisely, and live simply even when my income increased. If you want to break free from financial struggle, stop comparing yourself to others. Measure your progress by your own standards, and focus on building real wealth, not just the appearance of it. Let your bank account grow quietly, and let your freedom speak louder than any status symbol ever could. Wealth built this way lasts, and freedom gained this way is real. Teaching what you've learned is one of the most powerful steps on the path to wealth. When you take the time to share your knowledge, whether with your children, a friend, or a colleague, you're not just helping others, you're deepening your own understanding. Teaching forces you to clarify your thoughts, organize your ideas, and truly master the principles that lead to financial success. It's a practice that turns knowledge into wisdom and wisdom into action. I've seen it in my own life many times. When I began sharing what I learned about personal development and money management, I found that the concepts became clearer and more ingrained in me. Explaining these ideas to someone else helped me identify gaps in my thinking and pushed me to learn even more. Beyond that, teaching created a ripple effect of opportunity. People I mentored went on to create their own success, and that success inspired others around them. Wealth is not just about money, it's about influence and impact. The more you share what you know, the greater your circle of influence grows. And with that influence comes new doors, partnerships, and possibilities that you might never have encountered alone. Teaching isn't just a generous act. It's a strategic move in your own journey. If you want to accelerate your financial growth, find someone to teach today. Share a book, explain a concept, or offer guidance from your own experience. This simple act of generosity will multiply your mastery and open up fresh opportunities. Remember, the wealth mindset expands when it's shared. Your growth is directly connected to the growth you inspire in others. As we come to the close of this conversation on wealth, remember this: true financial success is never accidental. It's the result of consistent daily disciplines practiced quietly over time. Wealth isn't about flashy displays or sudden windfalls. It's about the small decisions you make when no one's watching, the disciplined saving, the thoughtful investing, the steady learning, and the intentional mindset shifts. These are the roots from which lasting riches grow. You've heard the laws that govern wealth. Start small without fear, leverage your time and money, let compounding work for you, control your emotions, and avoid shortcuts or get-rich-quick schemes. These principles aren't just ideas. They are tested truths woven through the lives of those who have achieved lasting freedom. The wealthy think differently because they do things differently. They build systems that multiply earnings, protect their time fiercely, and invest with patience and wisdom. But knowledge alone will not build your fortune. Action will. The difference between a dreamer and a doer is the willingness to act on what you know. So I challenge you to move beyond passive listening. Take what resonates and start applying it today. Write down your financial goals with clear deadlines. Start that habit of saving, no matter how small. Observe the habits of those you admire and model their discipline. Most importantly, invest in your own growth daily, because your income will never outpace your personal development. Do not be discouraged by the size of your first steps. Remember, every great oak tree once began as a tiny acorn. Wealth grows quietly, patiently, and steadily. Celebrate the small wins because they build momentum. Stay focused on the process, even when the results seem slow. Patience and persistence are your closest allies. Surround yourself with those who elevate you, people who talk about ideas, growth, and opportunity, not distractions or excuses. Your environment shapes your thinking, and your thinking shapes your reality. Commit to learning, teaching, and growing together. As you share what you learn, you deepen your own understanding and multiply your chances of success. Today is your turning point. Wealth is not reserved for a select few. It is available to anyone willing to commit to these laws, discipline their habits, and nurture their mindset. So start now. Commit to think wealth daily, not just wages. Build small disciplines that create big riches over time. Design a life that honors freedom, purpose, and legacy. Take ownership of your future. Your destiny is shaped by your daily choices. Wealth is not merely a destination, it is a journey of becoming the person capable of attracting and managing it. Step into that role. Commit to the disciplines, embrace the mindset shifts, and watch as your life transforms in ways you never thought possible. The road won't always be easy, but it will be worth it. Begin today and let your quiet discipline pave the way to a life of true financial freedom.